We're here at AUVSI 2014 in Orlando with Roger Hoskins from Pentek. Roger, I'd like to ask you a couple questions about how you see things. A lot of uncertainty this past year with the military defense budget. I think maybe a little bit more with some budget deals in place, but there's certainly been a lot of cutbacks that have affected our industry, our customers' situations where they have to reduce their costs. A lot of cases they're reducing a lot of their engineering staff. And that means they seem to be relying more on our industry and the technical expertise of companies like yours. Can you tell us, what's happening and how's that affecting how you guys operate?
Yes, what we're doing is instead of traditionally selling just board-level products to our customers, we're actually integrating those boards into systems like recording systems and offering a complete subsystem that's an application that they would otherwise have to develop themselves using our boards. Mm-hmm. And we're providing the software tools to make all that work. It gives them a leg up, it saves them some risk, it saves them some cost, and quicker time to market.
Mm-hmm. So that's obviously the stuff that they would have done by themselves in the past, and now you're taking over that burden.
Exactly.
Yeah, this whole idea of a box level system, this was traditionally our industry very board level centric. There were single board computers, there was DSP boards, all that kind of stuff. But now there's emerging as sort of a second center of gravity, this idea of a box level system, but the boards aren't going away, they're still there. But how do you see those technologies applied to unmanned systems? I mean, people have to make a choice between how they're going to do a rack of backplane boards or a box. I mean, how do you see that sort of choice?
I think what's happening is, again, as with the recorder system that we're talking about, people are looking for us to give them a more cohesive set of boards that perhaps has a function that within that board set has been proven by us to work, so that it's ready to run their application. So while they're putting various boards into various size chassis inside of UAVs, some of the basic functions that they need to do are there. So for example, we will do things like digital down conversion to bring signals down to baseband. We'll do things like capturing data with triggers, range gates for radar. We're doing time stamping from GPS signals. We're integrating all those functions into the boards so that when those boards go into the systems, they're functioning at a higher level and supported with the software.
It sounds like now Pentek is definitely part of almost every part of the signal chain. You're capturing the data, you're processing, but you're also storing the data, so you really are at all those points, right?
And we're also offering now, for the last several years, RF products that will actually take the signals from the antenna, boost them, filter them, and translate them down in frequency so they can be connected directly to our A to D converters.
Now let's talk about this whole idea of SWaP. They say, size, weight, and power. That's what everyone's talking about. It's a requirement that keeps coming up. Now, certainly it's making life harder and more of a challenge for a lot of things because, the processors are definitely giving a lot of heat and they want to pack a lot of processing on. But then again, there is sort of a lot of integration going on. That's sort of a plus for us. But what do you see some of the pluses and minuses out there in trying to meet that requirement?
In fact, what happens is as the devices like FPGAs, for example, which are prominent on our boards, get larger, they dissipate a lot more power. So one of the big problems is thermal management, trying to get the heat out of the package. So there's some innovative ways of managing heat using things like composite carbon materials and other structures. The other thing is trying to get data out of the products, that the bandwidths and the speeds, and still do so at a relatively small form factor, lightweight. And so for that reason, we're also seeing customers shifting more towards some fiber optic solutions for getting data instead of traditional heavy copper cables.
Now finally, could you maybe tell me what's new at Pentek, what's some of the new stuff going on?
I think one of the interesting products that are specifically suited for people at this show would be our new Flexor product line, which uses the fiber optic interface based on the VITA standard 66.4, which gives you 12 gigabytes per second across 24 optical lanes going between a VPX module and the VPX backplane. So that instead of copper signals connecting the modules to the backplane, we're now able to connect directly light signals from the module to the backplane. It gives you the advantage of lighter weight, higher speeds, and you can go for distances of kilometers, which you couldn't do with copper.
And again, optical backplanes, that's something that's interesting. We've been talking about for years.
Yeah,
and finally, the technology's there, and there's a need for it, too. So
exactly. So I think in the next year or 2 years, you're going to see a lot more adoption of fiber optic technology in these kinds of systems.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thanks for your time, Roger.
All right,
Appreciate it.
my pleasure.
Thank you.